Hello, this is Rob Mazak, and I'd like to take a moment to welcome you to the Life by Mazak podcast channel. Here on this channel, anything is possible. Any subject will and usually is discussed, and there's no telling how this message will unfold as we work through an idea, through an experience, or through a thought. These subjects come from the vast amount of information and experience through spirit, through life lessons, and from working with a lot of other people. Scripts are never used on this channel, and the message simply unfolds as the subject is discussed. Follow along and see where it leads us, or more specifically, where it leads me. These podcasts are produced in the hopes of helping others to benefit, to grow, and to excel in their own human experience. At Life by Mazak, we work towards helping you achieve wellness for your mind, your body, and your soul using many specialized services. Services that include psychic medium and tarot readings, quantum healing hypnosis, past life regression, intuitive Reiki healing, life coaching, and many other services. If you enjoyed this podcast, please click the like button and share this with others. Our goal is to reach as many people as we can with the knowledge that is shared on this podcast channel. I think I would probably like to start this podcast session with more of a question. Have you ever had those times in your life, those periods of time, those days, sometimes weeks, where it just seems like there's something going on somehow, somewhere, that you just can't put your finger on it? That's kind of what's going on right now for me, because I've heard many people on podcasts and little short clips and things like that often say that they feel this massive energy and this change in the air, and they couldn't sleep and all these different things. And most of the time when I hear them say it and they ask the questions, do you feel what's happening, the change, the massive energy spikes or whatever, I don't normally align with what they say. And I don't expect anybody to align with that in this conversation. That is exactly what's happening to me right now. And it wasn't like that the last few days. It's been kind of like wanting to connect, wanting to meditate, wanting to learn more things, learn something new, hear what somebody has to say that's different, but not even really knowing what you're looking for. Because I've spent a lot of years researching things, listening to people, going through everybody's conspiracy ideas, going through everybody's conversations and experiences of spirit and things that happen, outside of us. And I've just had this massive amount of research and digging into a lot of what happens outside of ourselves. I'm pretty sure most of us would agree that there is something outside of ourselves. I yearn just like any other human, well, most other humans, I can't speak for everybody, but that it's like you really, really want to know something new, something different. And I have been popping around on all the sites I can think of, YouTube, different other sites that I normally visit, trying to find something different, something that I have not heard, something that is just completely different from what I know or what I've been exposed to. Knowing is a different topic, which we have talked about before. I just can't seem to find anything that is different. It seems like everybody is talking about the same things. Now, I know that could mean a lot of different things. It could be that a lot of people pick up on a topic and they want to put their own spin on it. A copycat kind of thing, if you will. It could also be like Dolores Cannon talks about, the one who does quantum healing hypnosis, who were taught it, who developed it, which is what I do as well. There is like those that are outside of our reality, other dimensions, overwatchers, angels, whatever that is, that's kind of guiding the earth. They can't interfere necessarily directly. Non-interference clause, Star Trek kind of ideas is what she says. What they try to do to introduce things that us humans need to do to evolve or to go a different direction is to kind of drop those ideas into the atmosphere of the earth. Because we are kind of a collective mind on this planet, and part of the collective of the universe as well. Dolores Cannon also claims that once this information is in the atmosphere, that those who pick up on it tend to be the ones that get credit for this invention or this idea. She found, and what a lot of people find, is that these ideas that seem to spawn across the planet, these inventions or whatever is going on, tend to be picked up by lots of people. It seems like it happens on a global basis. So there could be something like that going on, where those that influence us from the outside or outside of our world reality may very well be dropping some things in that many people are picking up on. And it's pretty obvious these days that the awakening is happening. And there's a lot of names for that. It could be the awakening, it could be the consciousness shifting, a new earth, all kind of ideas. But we seem to be opening up and moving in a upward trajectory with the levels of our consciousness and the connectivity of us outside of ourselves. So it's not surprising to me that it's a lot easier for a large amount of people on this planet to actually pick up the same things. But kind of back to what I was talking about, it seems like I want to know more, but it's like I can't seem to figure what that is. And it's like I know there's something waiting for me to learn, something waiting for me to experience. That feeling that something big is going to happen, something is happening or coming that's just kind of like right outside of my consciousness. I can't quite grab it. And tonight, it got even a little more intense, which I'll come back to that in a second. I was listening to Dr. Stephen Greer, who, if you haven't listened to his stuff, you might want to listen to it. It is really very intriguing, and he is, from what I can gather, very, very connected with the UFO phenomenon and all the dark projects and the dark leaders or groups that protect that and use those technologies that they've captured, all these things I'm summarizing. But he talked a lot about these things tonight. I've heard him talk many, many times about all the same things he did in this podcast he did tonight. It's not anything really super new. But it wasn't long after I finished that podcast. It was probably an hour and 15 minutes long or something like that. But it seemed to awaken something within me, my consciousness, that, I don't know, it's got me what I call lit up. And so as I was learning how to react and work with the world outside of myself, I, like most people, initially just kind of get that feeling that there's something or someone, well, something I guess is the best way to put it, that is just like lurking around you, this energy spike, this change. Like it's almost like you can tell there's an entity around you that you can't see. And it's like if I had hair, if you know me, I don't have any hair on my head, mostly because I shave it off, but if I had hair, it would be standing up right now. I mean, it's just this amazing energy. And that's usually what happens to me when I'm working with a client and the things that are coming through that I'm talking to the clients about, it's my kind of like my signal that I've figured out from those that guide me, my spirit guides, my angels, that are affirming to me that what we are discussing or what is happening with that client is actually accurate. It's sort of like my check and balances, if you will. It didn't used to be. It used to be very uncontrolled, like it is tonight. But normally it's something that happens, and I really pay attention to it. I know that whatever it is I'm doing at the time, whatever it is I'm saying at the time, whoever I'm with at the time, whatever is going on is exactly what I should be doing or saying, or I think you get where I'm going. It's like you just know that it's just like an affirmation almost. And ever since I watched that video, it has just been astronomically large for me. I mean, it's like, I call it being lit up because it's like, imagine having those little spidey sense like hairs on the back of your neck stand up, the ones on your arm stand up, and you feel that tingly stuff. That's what it's like for me all over my body usually when that happens. But tonight it's like super intense, and there's just like, it just feels like there is something or someone or some entity just hanging around, or some energy, some feeling that something is about to happen, or something is looming, or something is looming. I don't even know how to describe it. I still haven't gotten any real specificity, I guess. Because last night when I was having that feeling of not knowing what I should know, not knowing even where to go or what to research that might interest me, or that is meant for me to begin to look at, I tried to meditate. And at first I fell asleep for maybe 10 minutes, and then I got up and I found a place that wasn't as comfortable so I wouldn't fall asleep. And it's just like really odd, because normally I'm really good at meditating and connecting and seeing something, hearing something, asking something, getting answers, all those things you probably all heard me talk about. But last night, it just was not happening. It was like trying but not getting anywhere. So in meditation, trying and working and thinking about thinking, or thinking about where you should go, or thinking why you can't do something, or why you can't connect, is still thinking, and it's not really truly meditation. And so it was a bit of a struggle. And so I kind of got saved by getting a phone call from somebody at work that I needed to talk to about some things anyway. And I realized that it just wasn't the night that I needed to connect, which is okay. Sometimes you can connect. Sometimes you're well-oiled machine connecting with that spiritual realm, or that energy, or that universe, or whatever outside of you. And sometimes you are just not. And I do believe, though, that a lot of times it's not always meant for us to know things, even if we think we should. And if you look at the way spirit guides work, or those that are outside of us, it is absolutely spot on that they have a much better purview of our life, what we should know, what we should not know, what we should do, what we should not do, what we should have and what we shouldn't have, all those things. And we think that it's like almost unfair a lot of times that we just can't know things because we want to know, or we can't gem up or conjure up any new information or new direction or new plans or new ideas, and we get blocked in a lot of ways. But I can guarantee you, though, that just like Garth Brooks' song that says, sometimes God's unanswered prayers are the answer. We don't always know what's best for us, which I get that, and it can be very frustrating. But I do believe, though, that the reason I'm beginning to feel something different when it comes to having watched this really in-depth video about UFOs and dark programs and all these things is, if you look at the world today, and just like Dr. Greer said in this video, about the time he said that they were going to have some hardcore whistleblowers come out that have been in dark projects, that are tired of being stuck in them. They just want out, and they're trying to find a way to do it, and they're just going to come out and not worry about it. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's what is being said. All of these things as distractions have come out. He specifically mentioned all these drones that have been flying, all these strange things that have been happening in the skies that people are. He even mentioned the distraction of the Tesla that got blown up at Trump Tower. All these things, all these major distractions have been popping all over the place. Mostly in the United States, from my purview. I'm sure they're all over the place. I mean, there's wars, all these kind of things. But that would make sense, I guess, that if there truly are organizations that are above the law, that presidents are not even read in on, or world leaders are not even read in on, that they certainly would want to keep that lid shut tight, especially when somebody's trying to open it, create diversions and distractions and all that stuff. So you're probably wondering why I was going that way based on my original comment there. I feel like, though, that this message that I viewed from Dr. Stephen Greer and all the other things that I've been looking at in relation to that over the last month or so more intently, although I've been looking at it a lot, I think it's beginning to resonate with the message I'm getting from my spirit guides with being lit up as much as I have, that there's a lot of truth in what he is saying, a lot of truth in the fact that some things that have been talked about are really going to come to light. Dr. von Brewer or something like that, the father of rocketry, the German scientist that was brought over, I'm sure I butchered the name. His assistant, his press secretary, if you will, became outspoken after he passed away and has been saying the same thing for many years, that that's one of the things that this man really talked about, is that the final straw, the final show for the direction of the New World Order would be conducted using a fake alien invasion. And a fake alien invasion to cause the whole world to have to come together to fight a common enemy, which would force everything and everybody into a very centralized hierarchy or government across the globe. Which makes sense. I mean, you hear it in all kinds of movies, even in the newer Wizard of Oz movie that just came out, a remake musical. The name is escaping me at the moment, but they even said that in there. The best way for you to control people is to create or have a common enemy that they need to fight. In this case, according to Dr. Greer and many other people, if any alien species or any other entities that exist other than us, that are very much more technologically advanced, are not afraid of us, other than the fact that we are beginning to use their own technology against them, because we're now learned to take them out of the skies or take them down and reverse engineer everything. But if they were really evil kind of beings, we would simply be gone, because the technology that has been reverse engineered, which has become very painfully obvious, and in wrong hands is not necessarily a good thing. If that is even a percentage of what they've been able to reverse engineer from any downcraft or any other way that they've gotten their hands on alien technology, then we could be very much in trouble. If alien beings that have visited us or been part of our evolution have already, I mean, it wouldn't take much to just bloop, we're gone, right? Sort of like the Star Wars movie where they using the Death Star to just simply take out planets with the firing of a very large laser type thing, of course. The technologies that he speaks of is just absolutely incredible. And I've been looking at this for a long time. It's not new to me, but why is it for some reason that it is firing me up so much now? I feel like there's a lot of truth to what is coming out lately. And I really do think that we're going to see a lot of interesting things this year. I mean, let's just face it, we have a returning president coming in who's going to make sweeping changes. I mean, it's just so much going on. And I think it's going to be elevated beyond absolute control in a lot of ways. This is kind of a call to action for me, at least, to really hone in on becoming as solid and as strong mentally, physically, spiritually, all the above, as much as I possibly can, because just like you and me and everybody here on this planet, we're going to be going through some trying times, I believe. I'm not here to prophesy. I'm not here to say it's true. It's just what I'm feeling. And I don't expect you to believe me. That's cool. That's okay. Because I listen to some people and I'm like, man, even though I talk like this and I really delve into some really crazy ideas in most people's minds, some people seem even beyond out there in a lot of ways. But the other thing that has been coming up a lot too is the Galactic Federation. And I mean, just like, it's just popping up all over the place for me. I think I even saw it on a mainstream video, like on MSN.com or something. I don't know what it was, somewhere where it was not even on any alternative sites or, on a TikTok, short or anything like that. It's just been all over the place. And if you don't know what the Galactic Federation is, the idea is that there's councils of aliens out there, or alien beings, or other entities that sort of like groups that manage the universe. Sort of like a panel of board members in an organization that kind of steer and direct and manage and assess and advise an organization, to protect the organization. And there's a lot of councils out there, in my understanding, in my experience, that are out there to make sure that the human species evolves like it should, in the direction that it should, but without direct interference. And I do believe, though, that if we didn't have some of those councils out there, some of those groups of entities out there like that, I think that this earth would be in real trouble, physically, spiritually, mentally, all of those things. I do believe that there are entities and groups that are very much interested in the human species, making sure we survive, making sure we thrive, and making sure that we can actually become what we're supposed to be. Because my understanding through other channelers like the one that channels Bashar, I think his name is Daryl, first name, he talks about that through an entity that we are basically earlier versions of many species that are out there. We're like the generations behind some of these other alien beings. Sure that there's a lot of truth in that as well. But the funny thing about truth is it really is a very interesting paradigm, because what's true for me is not necessarily true for you. Everybody holds their own truth, their own beliefs. And I'm just speaking from my experience, speaking from the heart. I just wanted to come on here, and talk about the feelings that seem to be out there floating. Just the strangest things happening. The energy around me is very much different, greater. I guess different is the best way to describe it. It's almost like it's just something hanging there that doesn't quite want to come through, information or otherwise, but it's just like right there waiting for the moment, waiting for the opportune moment to come through and reveal itself, the message, the activity, whatever. I mean, in this RV park, for example, over the last couple of nights, the lights that are around the RV park, which there's a lot, it's a very big RV park. It's like it got a couple hundred spots, and it's a very large thing, and it's new, and they have all these cool lights that stay at like half brightness until you drive or walk under them. They go to full 100% light. There's several of them around the park, especially around my RV, in the area of my RV, that have begun to have these weird fluctuations, I guess. They've kind of malfunctioning. I don't know how to describe it. It has gotten really weird. And there's been a lot more helicopter activity, it seems, around this area. I am relatively close to an airport, but the helicopters flying low at the altitudes that they have, doesn't normally happen out here. So anyway, there just seems to be a lot of strange things happening, a lot of energy that's just different. And I don't know if I really got my question answered to why I'm being blocked, or what it is I'm supposed to know, what it is I'm supposed to feel, learn, experience, because I know it's like right there. I do feel like I'm getting breadcrumbs. I do feel like things are kind of creeping up and creeping through. It's almost like I'm being spoon-fed and not given the whole casserole all at once, just getting a slice or a square. Of course, that's probably the best way to get some of these things. But I tell you, it's going to be really interesting if, in fact, there are a lot more whistleblowers and things coming up and being brought to light about the whole UFO or UAP or whatever acronyms they're using now, programs. And people are beginning to become identified. There's a lot more visibility. I know many leaders have wanted to do that. Let's just face it, just like the oil industry, they don't want electric cars. They don't want free energy. They don't want solar. And if it is allowed to happen, there's always a way that they're finding a way to continue using oil in that way somehow. All the solar fans that are out there, they all have to have large amounts of oil in the motors. So, there's always a way. But I think you understand what I'm getting at, is that there's always some pressure of some sort to keep secrets, to keep things from people, to control the masses. And it's just the way it seems to be. And it's been this way for probably all of humanity, or all of the experience of humanity. But these days, with the technology levels that we have, it is immensely easy to do. There's technologies that would blow your mind if you heard about them, and if they're actually true, we're alive at a very interesting time. And I just would expect, probably like most of you, that here in the very, very near future, likely this year, there's going to be some, I guess interesting is the best word to use right now, because I don't know if it's going to be scary, exciting, dangerous, fun. I don't know any of that. But I can tell you it's going to be something probably that we're not used to, we've never heard. New paradigm, new ideas. But I don't know if any of you all can resonate with the same feeling that I've been having, that there is something just looming on the horizon, waiting to come up like a big sunrise one day. And it's going to be like, oh, that's what I was feeling. That's what I've been expecting, even though I didn't know what it was. Sometimes we just simply don't get to know. We're not meant to know, and we're supposed to know things when the time is right. And so I encourage you guys not to get frustrated if you find yourself in the same situation, that you cannot connect and you can't quite figure out where you need to go. It feels like a lull. It feels like I'm just going to work, I'm coming home, I'm eating, I'm doing the same routine. I get it, because that's exactly where I feel like I am right now. But I am absolutely certain that I will be shown very quickly and in a very big way what it is I'm supposed to be doing next. Because that's the way my life has always been. And I think if you all were to drill down into your lives, you would probably realize the same thing. That you get to know things when you're supposed to know them. You get to do things when you're supposed to do them. All experiences come when they're supposed to, and we don't always have to force them to happen. So sometimes it's okay to sit, wait, and be in an expectation mode and receive it when it comes. Take it for what it is, work with it, understand it, experience it, jump in, make it happen, and use it for something good. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I know I kind of wandered around in different directions, and it was very difficult to share my thoughts and keep it in an organized manner, which you could probably figure out and hear, but that's okay. I encourage you guys to go to my website, lifebymazak.com, lifebymazak.com. Find a contact page, there's a booking page, all the above. You know what to do there. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to working with you. I would love to talk to you about your experiences, and it helps you, it helps me, it helps everybody learn both ways and not feel alone in the struggles that we have, right? Just because I'm behind this mic doesn't mean I don't have my struggles. It seems apparent tonight on this podcast. Anyway, you will hear from me many, many times. I look forward to hearing from you. Stay strong and live your life.